Let's focus on Bournemouth, shall we, right now? It's only a matter of time, we believe, before Milos Kerkez is announced as the latest departure from the club, with Liverpool his likely destination. There are a number of players linked with a move away, which makes you wonder what kind of shape they'll be in come the start of the new season. Joining us then to look ahead to that and give us his thoughts on his beloved club, part of the fantastic Up the Cherries in All Departments podcast, Bournemouth's go-to for all the very latest. It's Craig Beazley that joins us. Craig, good morning. How are you?
Hello,
Hi, Craig.
Good to see you again.
Yes.
Good to see you, Tony. How you doing?
Yeah, I've got a question for you, Craig, because...
Well, that's handy. He's on for
No, I mean, a question that I was thinking before you came on. Look, Richard Hughes was at Bournemouth and done all the transfers, and your transfer policy was extraordinary. Now he's at Liverpool. So you had a fantastic season at Bournemouth last season. Are you concerned with losing these players? And is the structure still at Bournemouth to make this transfer policy work again for you this season?
Yes, it is. And it's a good, very, very, very good question. Richard Hughes did a fantastic job here, finding and discovering some great talents, like Ilya Zabanier as well, who is wanted by PSG. I know that they've bidded a couple of times. Luckily, we're standing firm. Of course, I think Milos Kerkez's head has been turned to this one. But just to answer your question, what Richard Hughes did was he helped train Simon Francis in particular, and then we brought in Tiago Pinto as well, and that succession of talent coming through the door seems to be continuing. Again, we have signed some great players. It was Simon Francis and Tiago Pinto that discovered Dean Huijsen, for example, and they were the people that got him in. So Richard, I can't take anything away from him, but we're a stepping stone club. We know that we are in that pool, unfortunately, where we are going to bring in players. They are going to do very well. We've got a manager that brings them on very, very well as well in Andoni Iraola, can model them to a style that maybe they haven't seen before. He's improved some of the team that was here before him tenfold from the Gary O'Neill days. And then there is that danger of losing those players afterwards. Antoine Semenyo, for example, a player who was very, very inconsistent at Bristol City, has come here, done all right. Then Andoni Iraola's got hold of him, and he is a player now that is worth so much more.
I mean, it's not just the talk of players leaving. I suppose some of the key things as well is keeping hold of someone like Andoni Iraola, who had been linked with Spurs during this summer period before Thomas Frank got the job. To keep hold of him is going to be massive as well, because he's done so brilliantly at Bournemouth. And it just feels, yes, there might be a few exits, but if he's part of that transfer strategy team, which I'm sure he will be, as most managers, head coaches are, then hopefully they'll help him out in the best way possible to ensure that you have got another Premier League season to look forward to come the end of next season.
Well, most definitely. And you probably remember, Natalie, I was the idiot that turned around and said after those 9 games at the start of his first season, I was like, I don't think, I think that his knowledge and his skills, would work in Spain. That's what I was saying. But I didn't think it was going to work with the players that he had. How wrong was I? I'm pleased to be wrong. But at the same time, he is the biggest loss. If he goes to anyone, and I can see one club in this country that he would go to, I think he'd probably go back abroad. In all honesty, I think he'd go back to Spain. But I can see one club, if he goes anywhere in this country.
Who's that, Craig?
Arsenal. Mikel Arteta, he already knows the sort of style. He's a Basque manager. I actually spoke to a gentleman called Mikel Ixtari, and he's part of that group. The likes of Xabi Alonso, Julian Lopetegui, Mikel Arteta. I'm going to miss somebody out here. Unai Emery. They're all people that have worked with this guy. Basque managers got this certain style where they dictate the game, they pass the style, but also they're very focused on generating and improving players. he would be the biggest loss. But I think Arsenal, considering the way they play, is probably the one club that he would go to.
So tell us, Craig, you're going to lose a number of players, that's for sure. You already have. Who do you think will come in? What type of player? Because it's hard predicting where club, can bring in players that no one's really heard of, like Semenya at Bristol City, yes, but Huijsen as well. You've made players into incredible top players.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be our strategy moving forwards. We've already got the replacement for Milos Kerkez in Adrien Traffeur, who we signed from Reims in France. He looks a very, very good talent. So, yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, he can hit the ground running. Julio Soler, our Argentine left back. I'm guessing he's going to be number 2. Maybe he needs a little bit more time to get where he needs to be. But again, he's showing a lot of talent. We saw him against West Brom in the FA Cup last season. So, yeah, I think, he'll be good. I think we do need to follow what we've been doing previously because it has worked. We need Simon Francis, and no doubt he's gone out into the market. He's looking at who's going to be the next big thing or the next star that maybe hasn't had their chance with a manager like Andoni Iraola, and he'll bring them in for fairly cheap, and then the cycle starts again. It's what clubs, and Natalie, you can relate to this as well. It's what clubs like us, Brentford, Brighton, we have to do. We have to have that succession planning. I'm sure, in fact, I know that when De Zerbi left the club, they already knew at Brighton who was going to come in. They already know at Brentford who is going to replace Thomas Frank. Likewise, I reckon Bournemouth already know who, if Iraola does go, will opt to bring in ourselves. So we are 3 very unique clubs, 3 very, very clever clubs with that succession planning. We just need to hope that it works. And hey, we've got nothing to doubt Simon Francis or Tiago Pinto that it won't.
Brilliant. Craig, thank you for being with us this morning.
Not a problem at all. Thank you so much for having me on. Pleasure as always.
Reasons to be optimistic there from Craig Beazley.
Yeah, he's right. The plan, contingency plan, is in place all the time at these clubs.
Yeah. Although I'd like to know who Brentford are going to replace Thomas Frank with, because we still don't know as of yet. Anyway, it's not been confirmed.